Hundreds of bikers took to the highway for the annual Soldiers of the Law, Ride for the Fallen. They drove 90 miles through Dauphin, Schuylkill, and Lebanon counties. On their minds today are all of the officers killed on the line of duty, including the 4 that they lost in 2011, like Derek Kotecki.
It's just so marvelous.
It's just overwhelming.
Derek's parents, Richard and Elizabeth Kotecki, lost their son in October of last year. A suspect shot the Lower Borough police officer several times, killing him.
Since last October, our whole life changed.
Yes.
It's just the people that are from our hometown and all the surrounding community just
They don't seem to want to forget us.
And both of today's events are helping the Koteckis.
We received a letter to come to this, and I said to my wife, I said, we got to go.
Troopers held the public memorial ceremony at the State Police Academy. The motorcycle ride ends at the Academy grounds for a picnic. Organizers say they do this event to help give closure.
As the wife of an active duty trooper, we understand that you never know what the next stop is going to bring. So to be able to do this for a family, to help them come to a little bit of closure and to give them that big law enforcement hug, if you will, when we do this ride every year is very reaffirming.
He'd be so proud. We're so proud of him.
Yeah, he's our hero.
Over 200 million records sold. And over the course of 3 decades, transcending through different age groups and even genders.
Everyone said, back then, oh, they're a fad, they're going to go away, but 20 years later, they're still kicking. So.
It's crazy.
Try almost 30 years for New Kids on the Block, formed in 1984. The Summer Mixtape Festival brought them, along with the Backstreet Boys, to Metro Bank Park, but not for a concert. Rather, for a game of softball.
Yeah, we got here at 7:40.
Great idea for the city. It's a great idea for the Senators. It's a great idea for the Backstreet Boys to come here. So all around, it's a great thing.
Maybe the best part of this event, from one end of this line to another, are people who would never come to this stadium, and they are thrilled to be here.
It took Jordan Knight to bring me here.
So I would come any day if any celebrity would come here.
Sean McGill is a season ticket holder, and while he sometimes has to drag his teenage daughter to Senators games, she had to drag Dad here today.
I'm actually really impressed that the Senators organization was able to pull this off, because this park is such a great venue, and they need to start doing more things like this here.
The Rock and Jock softball game pitted New Kids against Backstreet. It wasn't always pretty, but then again, sportsmanship sort of took a back seat to showmanship.
I'm more of wanting to see them in tight baseball pants than anything else.
Something tells me she didn't waste her time getting concessions.
They're not great softball players. I love them, but they're not very good, but it's very entertaining.
2 of the biggest boy bands ever delivered a different kind of big hit to the city of Harrisburg.
It was actually enjoyable to watch, other than normal baseball games.
In the movie, Carl Fredricksen wanted to save his house and have an adventure. For Chloe and Andrew, the adventure has been to save their house.
This is why we love it here.
And what we're doing now is taking a house that has been here for 100 years, had generations live their lives in it, sadness and joy and success and loss, all in this place. And we're creating a house that will be here for another 100 years.
On such a beautiful spring day, the floods of September may seem like a distant memory, but not for Chloe and Andrew.
And as you can see, we've lost everything but the kitchen sink.
Almost 7 months later, the high water mark is still clearly in view. It's been a long road back.
The first 2 months living in that camper with my wife and a 90-pound dog and 17 feet was, well, we're still happy that we love each other.
Here is what needs to be done.
We have to elevate this house 9 feet in the air, then fill the existing basement with stone.
The road is now a day longer due to the need for a different type of cribbing, which is used to support the house.
I wanted to see it go up, but, to make sure that this house is done and done right, well worth the wait.
Pay your flood insurance. It won't cover everything, but it will really help.
So hopefully tomorrow will be the day that Chloe and Andrew's house is up in the air. If not, there's always Carl Fredricksen's method.
Underwater, That's the key thing. No one's ever done a marathon underwater.
Thanks to HydroWorks, this new type of race is possible, and I decided I'd hop in the water to give it a try and see what the first underwater marathon ever would be like. Right now, I'm running at 4 miles per hour backwards, but I'm only 30 pounds because of the water, and it's not that hard. While it's much easier, it's still a great workout that professional athletes, soldiers, and normal people use for training and rehab. And this race is raising money to help rehab soldiers through the Eagle Fund.
Special Forces soldiers alongside the general public and our sponsors are going to run 26.2 miles.
For this race, you have to step into water, turn on the treadmill, and fire up the jets.
They give their lives for our country. They're selfless. They sacrifice. They get injured. And all they want to do is go back to active duty.
That's where the Eagle Fund comes in, raising money to help rehab soldiers to get 98% of them back to active duty.
The Eagle Fund decided enough is enough. So what they did is they said, we're going to rehab these Special Forces soldiers just like pro athletes.
You can help raise money by donating, participating, or even purchasing t-shirts and beer to support Special Ops.
There's a special beer being made by Trogs called Special Hops.
Around midnight last night, the Road family heard a commotion outside and found 3 bears in their tree. They hoped the bears would leave overnight, but when they checked in the morning, the bears were still there. The family called the Game Commission. When they responded, they said that bears usually don't come down from trees if there are people around because they're scared. When we arrived, the 2 cubs were active, climbing up and down the tree, playing with each other, and trying to get their mom's attention. The mother didn't move since the family originally saw the bears 17 hours ago, and the family was very concerned that something was wrong. The Game Commission said that this is normal behavior, but just minutes ago they removed the mother bear from the tree and found out it was dead. Now, the Game Commission is still on scene trying to figure out exactly how the bear died, so we'll make sure to bring you the latest as we get it. But for now, we're live with the Dauphin County Mobile Newsroom in East Hanover Township. Jesse Knudsen, CBS 21 News.
The convenience stores that were raided are NS Deli here in the first block of West Willow Street and Deli Creations in the 600 block of West Lowther Street, both in the borough of Carlisle. What they seized were more than 20,000 packets of synthetic drugs with names like Barely Legal, California Dreaming, and Cool Beans. The average price was $35, but ranged from $20 to as high as $70 for certain versions of bath salts. Police allege you had to know how to buy them.
They were not out in open display, but they were readily available for a clerk to obtain, sort of behind the counter, but not far away.
No arrests have been made yet. The district attorney says who will be charged is under discussion.
The potential jeopardy is there for the clerks who certainly sold the substances, but also the owners of these establishments. And not only is there potential criminal jeopardy for these people, there's also jeopardy of having their assets seized under our drug forfeiture laws. You've seen us before seize cars, seize cash, seize houses. There is precedent for seizing businesses.
Freed says law enforcement is responding to the increasing problem of synthetic drugs, but has not stopped it. This investigation by Carlisle Police, the Cumberland County Drug Task Force, and state police should send a message.
Well, switching gears, 2 people were shot in the city of Harrisburg around 4 this afternoon. Police say it started at Turner Alley and Curtin Streets and ended at 6th and Seneca Streets. Our cameras caught police pulling one of the shooting victims out of a car. He was shot in the leg and was taken to Penn State Hershey Medical Center with non-life-threatening injuries. Police say the other person who was shot was taken to the hospital by a Good Samaritan. Police have not made any arrests.